All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is work on the head. I'm going to go and create another plane. Simply going to go here like so. I've got another file going on here. I just found online. It's just, I think it's a better shape than the model that's there, so I'm going to use it. I'm going to go into my Maya editor here again. Let's just move this up. Let's do another standard. Something like that. And again, it doesn't have to be like I can use the AI. You can use anything I want. I'm just going to do color, file, folder, and as long as I'm here, I've got that one. And then again, I'm going to do another standard. I'm going to do color, file, folder, and I'm going to just do the hands. I just found a picture of the hands online. So I'm going to grab this image here, and I'm going to just clone it once, and then from there I can add this material to it. And going back, I can grab this one and add this one to it too. So that is ultimately done. Then what I'm going to do is go here. I'm going to go into the UV. I'm going to take off this so you can see that the picture is stretched. Horribly, actually. And then we're going to go into just vertice. I'm going to grab this, and basically, as you can see, as I stretch it like this, let's do face, grab this, and if you have the UV tools out, there's a rotate 90 degrees. Someplace in here. Transform, pivot, and rotate here. So I'm just going to rotate it once. Relatively fine like this. I'm okay with that. I'm going to go back here, and then let's grab the vertices again, grab this, and move that over here. And you can see it's distorted because somehow this moved, so we're just going to move that up over like so. And then I'm going to go into the shell, grab this, and you can move it until it's elongated. Once you've got it like this, though, if you want I have always found the easier way to do it is to grab the length and width and go back in. So like here, length, width, and I can go into the polyplane. And so this one is, say, 6.4 by 7.87. And so that gives you an instant like size relationship. I don't have to deal with any of that aspect here. And then we can do the same thing for the hand if you want. The hand is going back to the hand. We can go into the plane shape again here. And this is this looks pretty fine, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. Okay. So now with this in mind, what we can do is let's close this UV toolkit here, and let's set up image planes for this. So we're going to go into plane shape here. I'm just going to go and delete history, and then we can go in and multi-cut 1, 2, and all I need is these two pieces. So for object mode, or not object mode, I'm going to go to face, I'm going to delete these two planes, I'm going to go here, shift right click, I'm going to detach the component, and then with both of these go into object mode, so you can see that both are selected. I'm going to rotate X and 90, so this should be like that, and they will basically pop up like this. And then let's go to face, grab this, bring it roughly up to match, and if you can't see that it matches, you can always kind of go back and forth. And then I'm going to rotate this something like that, 90 degrees right, and that's going to be roughly okay like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this and move this like so, and so basically I have a front and side of this. Now with the object mode given, I'm going to basically bring this up here. I don't need to resize it. I can always rescale the object, but this is perfectly fine. Next, I'm going to, actually let's rotate this 180. And that just is going to basically move it like this. So that way I'm modeling the same half. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to display, polygons, backface culling, and that should hide the backs, which we're good with. And then with that in mind, then what I can do is, so I've got front and I've got side here. I'm just going to work on this. I'm going to grab this, go here, create a new layer, and then on this one I'm going to just hide this for now. We don't need it really as much anymore. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a box like so, and I'm going to make the box a full box like that. Go into the attribute editor of the box, and I'm going to move this, I'm going to move this box forward, and I'm going to move this box centered mesh like so. And then in the attribute editor here, I'm going to go into my polycube shape and add subdivisions. So I'm going to simply say 2 by 2 by 2. That subdivisions will give me what I need. So I'm going to go in my face mode, grab my face, delete half my face, and then start modeling the box. So I'm going to go in vertices here, and this is going to basically move in like this. This is going to move in like that. Let's focus on, focus on this. And so with this, I'm going to round out the face. And if it doesn't line up, you can always kind of work with it a little bit, kind of adjust back and forth. So I'm going to manipulate said object like this. And again, you can see that it's not lining up properly. I can always go through and kind of adjust kind of accordingly. And then what I'm going to do is go up here onto the top. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all these verts and I'm going to push them kind of back forward and back forward like that. So now I've got more of a rounded shape. I can start cutting and splitting things up a little bit. The first thing I'm going to do is go into my face, grab this where my neck would be, and hit delete. That's going to give me kind of my jawline and my neck area. Then what I'm going to do is start cutting in elements. I'm going to grab in the edge mode here. I'm going to just grab this edge and go to bevel that edge. That bevel will basically be right here. I don't need 2. I need, actually, you know what? Let's do this. So I'm going to add 2 in there, and I'm going to spread that out like so. That's going to give me the eye ridge and then enough geometry for the eye. I'm going to also go into, let's go into edge mode here, and multi-cut, and I'm going to add in geometry here, and I'm going to add in geometry here. So with that in mind, let's also add in, actually no, that's fine. So we're going to go to vertice. I'm going to grab this piece of geometry here and start shaping some of this geometry around here. So you can see here that this is going to move, and again I'm adjusting and kind of moving things around a little bit here. And then here I'm going to bring this up. Like so, like so. And let's go up here. And start by, let's move this inward a little bit. And very simple, grab this, pull that back a little bit, start grabbing this and start adjusting it accordingly. And basically this is allowing me to round out the head form. Alright, now I'm going to start with some loops here. I'm going to go into edge. I'm going to grab, let's go over here. I'm going to grab this edge loop here, which is my eye range here. And then I'm going to start by doing a multi-cut. So I'm going to cut around the eye. Like that. And from there, go to object, or go to plane mode here. Come on here. There we go. Go to face mode and hit delete. And then I'm going to go into this surface here. I'm going to try and find pretty close to the smack dab center here of her iris. I'm going to bring that like so. That's about right. And then let's bring that forward to match up with her actual eye. And again, we're just kind of making do here. It's not going to be perfect. So let's start fleshing out the eye a little bit. So this is where I generally jump into the perspective mode. If you don't feel comfortable, you can add that in there as you want. So I'm going to grab this, pull this backwards in space, and you can start seeing the eye kind of goes through things. I'm going to grab this edge loop here, pull back. I'm going to go out here and pull back, and so that roughs out kind of that eye socket. Then what I'm going to do is go into multi-cut, and we're going to grab and redirect some of this geometry. So this is going to be redirected up here. Let's see here, undo. This is going to be redirected into this edge loop right there, like so. This is going to be redirected into this edge loop like there. And this is going to be redirected into this edge loop here. And this is going to be redirected into that, which gives me this as now an 8-sided piece, which gives me basically more geometry to play with. If I hold V, I can snap it to other elements here, kind of bring things forward. All right. And again, you can always norm this around so you can start seeing how the edge flow kind of affects itself. And then with that in mind, so you can see that I've got my edge loop here. This looks like okay. Let's start moving some of this back and forth. And again, you can see that I'm just basically adjusting vertices. It's a little bit of a process, but if you just take your time, you can easily kind of grab in there. And then from there, you can see that I'm going to just start moving that, and that's going to be my nose kind of idea here. And again, looking back here, this is where you can start forming out the eye a little bit more, rounding things out. Getting that kind of look and feel. All right, now then I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go to edge mode. I'm going to multi-cut, and I'm going to cut all the way around here. So this is my initial edge loop here, and you can see that if you have a good edge loop cut, you will cut anything. So you can see that I can cut anything here like that, and basically kind of work and adjust accordingly. So I can loop, go back here, and you can see some things are a little bit off. And actually, if you feel that things are off, we can always go into this face here and kind of scale things to fit where it needs, or move things back. I think we're going to scale a little bit bigger here. There. Object mode. And again, we can go back here and hit R. So now with this kind of set here, you can see that if I go into vertice mode, I can start kind of adjusting, moving things according to their kind of face plane here. I'm going to grab the sphere and just move it a little bit forward, which will allow me to grab, I'm going to just grab all of this here and move it just a hair forward too. So you can see I'm going to go into object mode. I'm going to grab the sphere actually, and let's put it on its own separate layer. And at some point you should start naming these layers. You know, like this is the eye. so that you know what's going on, not that you have 100 layers sitting around here. All right, so let's go to Vertice, and you can start seeing that I'm going to just start grabbing some of this stuff and kind of moving these pieces around. And this I'm going to move. So this I'm going to move backwards, and here is my eye. Here's this. I'm going to move this backwards, and you can see this is my eye. And then we remove this, and this is where my cheek comes in. And this is where you just kind of start lining things up accordingly. So slowly start pulling some things forward. And when we are happy with the way things look, and you can adjust things accordingly. And we're just going to grab this and kind of bring it down like this. And again, going back 1 and 3, that's all I'm doing. So now we have the edge loop for the eyes. We have the start of the edge loop for the mask right here. And then what we can do is starting the other cuts. If I go into here and go into the front view, and we can start adding in cuts to basically align this all up. So if you look here, I can add in this line here, and I'm doing it in the right area. So this is the laugh line right here. So I'm just going to kind of piece this a little bit, and this is going to go into my chin. And then I'm going to redo the front here. So this is going to come and work down into the nose. And I can actually either bring this up or I can bring this in. So either way, that's the nose. And then I'm going to bring this out for the mouth. Now the mouth is, I'm going to make it open like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to model or cut another edge around, let's see here, cut another edge around this end gun. Now I need to go through and fix this all up. So once I'm done with that, then I'm going to go back to here, and I am going to clean this up. Okay. First things, let's delete some things now. Oops. Come on here. There we go. So first things, the reason I put an edge on the mouth here like this is because when you open your mouth, when you animate it, when you go that O sound, you don't want that corner in there. So that's why I put that there. All right, so let's go here to multi-cut, go here, and then this is going to basically lead up into here. Actually, let's bring this over here. And for now, I'm just going to bring it over here like this. And then this is going to come over. Actually, let's tighten that up a little bit. So this is going to come over here and like so. And this can actually start bending down into the jawline chin area. Now, with that in mind, I have most of this kind of working out here. I can start by bringing some of this other stuff up into, so like here's the nose, so I can bring this over here like that. And then as I come back down, I want a chin, so I'm going to bring this over here and here, like so. And if you're running into like, okay, how do I figure out what an n-gon is, and how do I figure out what's happening with all this? You can always go into face mode here when you're in face mode, and go into select, use constraints, n-sided, and then all in next. And you can see here, these are my bad polygons. So I'm going to simply start cleaning this up. And to clean some of it up, it's pretty simple. I'm just going to multi-cut here, bring this in, cut this down, cut this, bring this, and bring this like so. And let's see here. Let's do this. So I'm going to go to edge, grab my edge, and grab this, and this will ring. If you hold shift and double click, it'll ring all the edges. Let's go merge edges. Ooh, not to the center. Let's merge edges to collapse edge, and that will kind of refine that so I don't have so much polygon sitting out there. Let's go into edge here. Go to edge, collapse edge, edge, collapse edge. And again, go into face mode. And you can see that I'm starting to redirect some of the polygons here. And it's just, this is all it is just redirecting some geometry so that it is giving you a little bit more to work with. Actually, let's multi-cut this, like that. And again, let's bring that up like that. And let's go back down to face. And you can see that this is starting to clean up a little bit more. And some of it might just be a redirect. Some of it might be cleaning up. You can always go through and kind of play around with this. Let's go into collapse that edge there. Again, that starts manipulating that a little bit. And then maybe let's just do another multi-cut here. And this is going to kind of flow this into the neck a little bit. So with that in mind, before we get too much geometry in here, let's go back to the front. And I'm just going to hide that because I don't need it right now. So let's go back to the front and start manipulating this geometry. So again, go to vertice and bring this down. And you can see that this head doesn't quite line up. So let's just kind of move that over just a hair. Bring that down. Bring that up. Tighten that in. And so on and so forth. And then this brings this over here. Bring this over here. Bring this over here. And so on. So there's my mouth. And then you can kind of use the guidelines of what you've been doing to kind of get everything kind of lined up accordingly. And here's my nose. So let's bring this up a little bit more. So we're going to bring this up a little bit. We're going to bring this up a little bit. Let's actually scale that a little bit bigger, so on and so forth. And so you can see the muscle pattern starting to kind of flow. I'm using the front as more of my guidelines, but I can go through and kind of round out and kind of adjust these features as I feel the need to like adjust things. All right, and then going back here, you can see that this is, let's go into face. I'm gonna just grab, let's go into vertice then, grab this, let's move that out, like so, like so. And again, my mouth is a little bit off, so we can go through and adjust the picture. But the main thing that I want to pay attention to is that this here goes in, this goes out, this goes out, these go in, and this goes starting like so. And then these are starting to kind of work accordingly. All right, next video. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is multi-cut here, and you can see when you have the proper edge loops when you hold Control down, and it creates the loop that you want it. All right, so then what we're going to do is we're going to go vertice, actually edge, bring that out, edge, bring that, not that way, bring that out, and then we can go into front view here and kind of adjust, bring some things back. The main point is to get the kind of curvature of the lips matched properly. Let's see, we're just going to pull some of this back. The next thing is we're going to work on the nose here. And so I'm just going to scale this down and move it a little bit further over. Go back here. And we're going to just basically cut this and bring this down to something like this. That, and just kind of move things around. Forming out everything as you go. And then over here, you can start seeing how I'm pulling in the kind of the lip of the nose here. And actually, let's play around with this. Let's try bringing this, so this is, so as you can see, I'm starting to get as I start smoothing it out, you can start seeing I'm getting the wrinkles, getting kind of the bits and pieces here. And let's try cutting something around here. And I'm just going to bring this up over like so. And then this is going to be brought up into the eye here. And again, form that out. And so you can see here that the edge loop starts going pretty well, except it stops here. So I can add a loop there, and then I'm just going to continue this cut up over here and then over here, like so. With that, then I'm going to go to the edge, and I'm going to grab this little edge here and close that. And then we can go into areas like this and collapse that edge, like so. And let's actually just collapse that edge right there, that one right there, and that one up there. Again, I can start forming out things, grabbing just bits and pieces and start pulling them back. Like so. And start grabbing things like this and pulling them out in the proper direction, like so. Alright, so as I continue to basically work on this, I'm grabbing some of these pieces here, something like this, and I'm going to bring that in, and I'm going to start pulling some of these out here a little bit, like so. And as you can see, basically just kind of starting to flesh out the nose here. And as I go and do this, I can also cut different Alright, back to this. So this one I'm going to cut here, 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 and add more geometry this way. And so I'm going to go into and merge these vertices together, and I'm just slowly starting to, and as you can see as I do this, like especially with the subdivisional level on, you can see that it's starting to get a lot more kind of formed like that, if that makes sense. And we can, keep going and looking at, like, you can see that this is, let's bring this up a little bit. Actually, let's bring these over a little bit so they don't. And if you find that things are not meshed right, you can always scale inward and it'll shrink things together in vertice mode. And I'm just looking at how things are kind of put together now. And I'm just moving things accordingly. a lot of this is nothing more than just shaping things around and getting that right kind of look and feeling in there. And then, let's see here, I'm going to grab these upper parts here and I'm going to pull that backwards a little bit. And so you can see that this is starting to create like my nostril here, like that. And I'm going to try to basically get a loop in there to, so I will do a shift multi-cut from, let's do another loop here, something like this. And I'm going to add a loop in here. So that's going to go on the center of the nose. Something like that. And then I can bring this either up or I can kind of adjust it however I need. However I'm working on it right now. And then with this in mind, then I can grab these pieces here and start pulling them forward. And by pulling them forward, you're starting to get more of that kind of bulb look, like so. All right, and then I can also start grabbing this here and pulling and moving this accordingly. And so you can see the curve of the mouth goes with the curve of the nose and comes down. And then when it's pretty close to getting done here, I can try and just simply do an extrude here. And see, sometimes the joy of Maya is things stop working. So I'll go back. Let's try this. And like I said, you can see sometimes things just like it won't select now or something's wrong. And a lot of times I find that that is actually happening because of the more n-gons you have, the kind of more issues you have down the road here. So it's just little things like that you have to kind of go through, clean up, kind of take care of, and that will give you kind of a better kind of process, if that makes sense. Let's grab this edge. I'm just going to extrude this edge inward once and then inwards twice. And again, looking at it with 3, I'm going to grab this loop here, actually go to multi-cut, and let's grab that. And then when I go 3, you can start seeing that it starts taking effect. I'm going to grab this and start moving these vertices slowly forward. And then start cleaning up some of these gaps here. Something like this, just a multi-cut. I'm going to cut all the way over here, and that creates that. And then this is already a loop, so I can see that cutting from here to here. works. Cutting from here to here works. And then going in the edge mode, and we can slowly control backspace some of this stuff here. And clean out some of the kind of overall looking kind of stuff here. This I can multi-cut down into here, like so. And this I'm going to cut back over here, like so. Control backspace this. Go into face mode. And again, notice for some reason I can't select. I can only select n-gons, and that might be because I have got the selection modifier, use constraints. Go to face mode here, and so now I've gotten rid of most of those faces. I just have to like kind of go through and clean this up here. And basically just start forming a lot of this out. This is just kind of information here. This is actually pretty simple to fix. So multi-cut from here down to here, and cut that over there. And then let's do an edge loop here. And with this edge loop, I'm going to grab this edge, and if I scale it inward, it'll flatten like that. And over here, I'm going to just grab this and scale it inward and grab that. And then close that out. And now look, I can select things, so yay. All right, so then basically going back, let's fix some of these vertices, and that's a lot of what this is about, is just going through and taking care of things. You know, something as simple as this, going to this edge mode here. Again, scaling this forward, and it doesn't have to be 100% perfect, but you can see that just by kind of moving things around and spreading things out a little bit, I can get a better rounded shape. And then this here is the start of my draw line. So if we look here, this is flat, so we want to basically round that out like that. And you can see that as I work in different divisions here, different kind of parts, you can definitely see that things are just kind of, you know, I need to watch my form. Like right now it's a very manly jaw, and so I need to kind of pull things back. All right. You know, like so. Maybe out a little bit more. And basically go through and clean up any triangles I see, any kind of mess that I don't like, go through and clean those up. I can actually go into multi-cut here, and I'm going to start up here, and I'm basically going to start cutting all the way down here. And like so. And then that gives me, going on the edge, I'm going to just grab that edge and clean that up. And so you can see I've basically made a head here. And it's just, like I said, it's just a matter of going through and pulling vertices and cleaning things up as far as that goes. And then when I smooth things out, like so when I hit 3, that's what that face looks like. And you can see like the jowl up here, you know, these need to be pushed back a little bit. The chin needs to be kind of pulled forward a little bit, so on and so forth. And so if you start, looking at things like that, those are little things that you can kind of clean up and kind of work with. We can also go through and look at like the edge looping. Simply raising some of this edge loop will give us like a higher cheekbone, kind of give us the kind of loop that we're looking for as far as that goes, and so on and so forth. But that's ultimately kind of how to build a nose. And the only other thing I have to do is probably manipulate some of the geometry here. Let's see where the best way to do that. So right here, you can see that there is enough room for a hole. So if I go face, grab this face, and basically extrude that up and in, and then we pull it back, and so you can see that it's kind of awkward looking. So I need to add a little bit more kind of, let's scale this down. So when I look at it, you can tell that there just needs more looping around there. And that's actually pretty simple to do. We can simply go into the multi-cut tool and start cutting around that loop. And stuff like that. Here. Collapse that edge here, collapse that edge, and then go to vertice and then bring this forward, and again looking at like how things look here. You know, maybe I need to bring some of this down. I can bring some of that down. And kind of work with that edge loop as well. So I can definitely play around with the amount of detail and add more detail in the nose. But as long as it's all quads, I should be fine. I think there's one triangle in here, and again you can go into face mode, use constraints, and go to triangles, and basically all are next. And it looks like, honestly, I've got a couple in here, so I've got 3 triangles in here, and I can redirect those kind of as I go too. So an example is if I go to multi-cut here and simply bring this up into here, that gives me that, and can go to the edge and grab that, and that works great for that. And then over here I can multi-cut, and since I've got 2 next to each other, I can simply go something like that, and there is my edge loop. And again, you know, it's a lot about shaping. Like, I still need to do a ton of shaping on this, you know, to get the form, to get that look and feel of who this character is. I mean, you know, simply showing you here that, like, smoothing some of that out makes a lot of difference. Going back here, we can always do other things too. Like something like this right here. What we can do is do a multi-cut and basically cut something like that. Go into the edge mode, grab this one, control deselect, and then grab this piece right here and merge that to the center. And so there is kind of our edge loop right there. And again, it's just a simple thing, but you can see here how, you know, I can quickly start pulling out some of this, like higher cheekbone, pull some of it to sink it back in the cheekbone, and then I still have the geometry that I need to kind of work with everything else. And then from there, once this is all formed and shaped, I can basically attach it to the head and the rest of the body, just scaling it in proportion to the other aspect. The next video here, I'm going to be working on the hand, and we'll use this one down here. All right.